What is up, guys? Quarantine Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we have a very interesting development in what's going on with Destiny 2 and the not-so-loved Season of the Worthy. And that's because Bungie has actually started sending out surveys to people who have quit playing Destiny 2. Now, I want to make something clear. This video is not intended to just bash Bungie. I actually like that they're doing this, and I really am happy to see that they're being proactive in trying to figure out what is going wrong. Something is clearly going wrong, and I think it's pretty undeniable that players are disappointed with Season of the Worthy. But what are the real reasons behind that? And what should Bungie focus on fixing? That is a little bit more complicated because, quite frankly, often the community can be very loud at times, but it doesn't always know what it really wants. And if we look at Destiny 2, that's the perfect example of that. Destiny 2 launched with no random rolls, and what happened is that once you got a weapon, there was no reason to grind that activity ever again because you'd never need another version of that weapon. It was an unmitigated disaster, and random rolls are so superior than static rolls. But if you go back to before Destiny 2's launch, there are so many Reddit threads complaining about not being able to get a god roll IS Luna, and I play this game all the time. I'm giving all my free time to Destiny 2, and this RNG system is screwing me. Bungie, you guys suck. So there's so many threads like that exist. Is it any wonder that Bungie took the opportunity to do away with random rolls, do away with RNG? Because isn't that what people are complaining about? Turns out, even though it's annoying to get a trash roll, it's more annoying to have nothing to do in your favorite game. So, getting to the root cause of why people are upset and fixing that is very important. So again, very happy they're doing this with the survey. Now, this first came to my attention from the Forbes article by our boy Paul Tassi. That'll of course be linked in the description down below. Let's take a look at what they're sending people who have quit the game. Because of course, you have to connect your email to your Bungie.net account so they know when you've stopped playing the game. And apparently the people who are getting this have not played the game for a week solid. So question number one is, how would you rate your Destiny 2 experience in the past week? From not at all enjoyable to very enjoyable, and of course the option I didn't play. Kind of weird if they're sending this to people who haven't played for a week and then they ask them to rate their past week, which they didn't play in, but that could be anecdotal. They could be sending this out to pretty much everyone, even if you're playing solid. So I think that you're pretty likely to start to see this survey pop up via Bungie in your email. But regardless, of course, this is a useful question to gauge where you're at. Now, obviously, some of you may be thinking, well, why are they sending this out? Obviously, everyone's going to say not enjoyable. There's a lot of people who are still getting enjoyment out of Destiny 2 and then just kind of got bored, left the game, don't have any ill will, people who maybe left for other games they're more interested in, etc. So just a good gauging question. Then we have question 2 and 3, and I'm going to say these together. They're quite interesting. So we have, what did you like about your past week in Destiny 2? And then for question number 3, what did you dislike about your past week in Destiny 2? And it leaves it open. You can put whatever you want. Trials, cheaters, not enough to do, etc. Here's the thing. I think these are both not very good questions, and I would really hope that Bungie goes back and rewords these. Why? Because limiting the timeline to only your past week is a very bad idea. I'm sure a lot of people out there stop playing Destiny 2 after withering down week after week after week. Most people are not just going to be playing solid, like multiple hours a day, and then one day just quit cold turkey. No, you're going to play less and less and less, and eventually you're not going to play at all because you're running out of stuff to do. You're getting worn down by problems. So trying to limit this to just, hey, your last week, how was that? No, Bungie. It should be the last season. It should be the last multiple seasons because many of these problems have lasted for a very long time. So I don't like these questions. I think that it's way too limited in the scope, and Bungie, you're doing a disservice because, frankly, the net you're casting with these questions, you're going to catch a lot of people that just are frustrated and had a last straw type of thing. Yeah, cheaters, you're going to get a lot of people saying cheaters, aimbotters, DDoS, trials. That ticked me off, and I'm done. I'm done playing, right? And that doesn't address a lot of the other underlying issues. Why is there no ritual weapons? Why is there nothing to grind for? I'm not saying stuff like cheaters and so on shouldn't be fixed. It obviously should, but it's going to be more overwhelming than potentially other problems that definitely need a spotlight as well. But before we continue, I want to answer these questions myself. What did you like about your past week in Destiny 2? I like Destiny 2 in general. The gunplay, the gameplay, going after roles. I love this game at a base level. So just the fact that it is Destiny 2 is the reason I'm playing it. What did you dislike about the last week in Destiny 2? There is nothing to do. There is nothing to do. I have all the good roles for only 4 of the Seraph weapons. That is it for that activity's weaponry. I pretty much have the roles I want for the Trials weapons, and Trials is too annoying and too RNG dependent to keep playing anyways, so there's just not enough content for me to do, and the content that is new just doesn't last long enough. There's also the issue of like, why put together a cool new build? Why get a really good new PvE weapon if there's nothing to use it on? There needs to be like a dungeon, there needs to be something that you're gearing up for, and I feel like maybe Grandmaster Nightfalls would have been that, but the fact that it just gives you slightly higher chance to get exotics, I don't view that as a good enough reward, frankly. Moving on from there, we do have question number 4. How likely is it that you recommend Destiny 2 to a friend or colleague? I hate questions like this. This is like a pure marketing question. I'm sure the marketing department was like, oh, you gotta throw this on. But like, obviously, if you're not enjoying the game, you're not gonna recommend it. And if you're a new player who like just started playing and there's so much content you don't know why people are upset, I'm sure you're likely to recommend it. This question just seems very unnecessary. Again, it's like one of those like base level marketing questions that's always thrown into every survey, and it doesn't really tell you much. But with that whole spiel, I guess I would have to answer this with like, a 7, 8, 9, or 10. Even though Destiny 2 is not doing well right now and I'm not having the most fun in the game, I can't not recommend it to people because it's free to play, and the amount of content you get for that free to play shell is absolutely ridiculous. And even if this is a bad season, it's likely to just be 1, maybe 2 bad seasons, and we're going to get back on track pretty quickly. At least that's what it's always been with Destiny 2. Bungie can mess up for a little bit, D2 launch Curse of Osiris, and then really kicks it into high gear, and we get quality content for a little bit, and then they get complacent, and then they mess up again, and then they kick it into high gear again. I wish they would just keep it in high gear, but that's just me. But moving on from there, the last question on the survey, question number 5, is how likely are you to play the next season of Destiny 2? Now, I'll tell you right now, for me personally, 100% I am going to play the next season. I'm obviously not going anywhere, but I'm an extremely, extremely dedicated player. This is a little bit of an interesting one because this question reveals a little bit about the inner workings of the game, in the sense that if you're done, and you're not going to play next season, it's likely because you view just more content as not good enough. You view the internal systems of the game to be inherently broken. The loot system, the reward structure, something like that. And Bungie just adding more stuff isn't gonna cut it. So if a lot of people are saying not likely at all, Bungie might go, okay, again, new content isn't going to cut it. We have to go in and fix the internal workings of the game. I would also assume that you do catch a lot of, again with this net, a lot of very scorned PvP players. People who are, especially on PC, whose experiences have just been completely ruined, especially with the cheaters and the hackers and so on, that are just not going to come back because, yeah, you could do a bunch of cool stuff with PvP, but some guy flies around in the air with a mountaintop that shoots at 1,000 rounds per minute. That's a real thing. I saw a video on that. That's going to ruin your experience. Like, no matter what Bungie does, unless they specifically fix that problem. Conversely, and I have to be honest with this assessment, it also looks like Bungie's kind of maybe trying to see what they can get away with, how long they can go before they have to introduce some big fixes. Because, so many people are so invested in Destiny 2 that even if they're dissatisfied and they're not playing, they might still rate 4 and 5. I mean, I just did. I rated 4 and 5 still very likely to recommend, and yeah, I'll be back next season, even though I'm not super satisfied with this current season. So Bungie's got me. Like, they know I'm going to be back, I'm going to be paying for the next season. They got me, and they don't have to necessarily fix a lot of what I would like them to fix, to be honest. So, I mean, I hope they're not taking these questions like that. I hope they're not looking with what they can get away with, looking with how long they can, again, go before these fixes, but that could be part of these last two questions that would definitely help them make that decision if they were to do it. But I do also want to add on to that and end the video with, I feel very sorry for Bungie right now, and I know a lot of people are very negative towards Destiny 2 and Bungie, but the fact of the matter is that this is pretty unprecedented with what's going on in the world right now. Bungie, all of them, are working from home. It's not going to be as easy to fix the error codes, to help with the cheaters, all of that stuff, to even make new content, when they're not even able to go into their own studio. They are at a huge disadvantage, and we are asking the world from them. Like, we're asking them to continue making content like everything is normal. Everything is not normal, in fairness to Bungie, and I'm sure Bungie would rather be in the studio ironing out all these problems with much greater efficiency. It really puts into the question, like, are they even going to be able to hit their current deadlines? Like, will the next season be delayed? Will the fall expansion be delayed? I think that's very possible. And again, you got to be a little bit understanding with the circumstances. So, the Destiny 2 player base is clearly not happy. Bungie is at a disadvantage. One thing does not necessarily excuse the other, but there should be some understanding on both ends. Guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this discussion interesting. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.